Hello everyone, Chef Chris Garnier here of Culinary 223 and Professor Elliot here of Ag 251, and we'll be talking about some varieties of vine-ripened cherry tomatoes.
All right, cool. So we wanted to share with you how tomatoes are grown. Here at Leeward we chose to trellis 4 different varieties of tomatoes, and when you're growing tomatoes outside, you need to worry about a lot of pests, and this is why we have these little bags here. They protect the tomatoes against fruit flies, but also against birds. Birds love eating ripe tomatoes. So
The seeds.
I thought this would be an interesting conversation because as chefs, knowing the value, like how much work it takes again, right, to grow this kind of stuff.
To grow it, right. And then also, we have a greenhouse here, right, that you guys made. And so you think about, oh, is it harvested in a farm, but is it grown out? Is it grown out in the soil? And you would see these greenhouses, or you made this, right, man-made, and you think like, no, that's not grown outside, it's grown inside, but actually it's about protecting your tomatoes, right?
Yeah, because otherwise it would become almost like economically not feasible to grow tomatoes,
Right.
because everything gets eaten.
Okay.
But I can show you an example of how the bags work. So we bag the tomatoes when they're little like this, and then I'm gonna unbag a little cluster for you to see.
Look at that.
So every 2 days we come through, we open them up, and we harvest just the super ripe ones. And you could eat it straight up if you're not afraid of food safety issues. But these are quite clean, but for production we take it through a washing process that you will see in a little bit. But all of these are ready for harvesting, and you can see there's a huge difference between harvesting your tomatoes when they're ripe and harvesting your tomatoes while they're green, and then letting them ripe. So imagine if you're harvesting, because a lot of production outside Hawaii, people are picking the tomatoes when they're just turning, so there's time to make it here, but the flavor of these guys is just a lot better when you really pick fully ripened from vine.
So it goes from green to yellow, then to red, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
For this variety, so we have 4 varieties here. This is called a small apparel, and it's a small variety of cherry tomato that is resistant to a bunch of the things that we have here in Hawaii, all the different pests and diseases, and not all, but some. So it really helps to plant the right variety. And we'll show you a different variety that is being grown inside this shade house right here. This high tunnel.
Beautiful.
Nice. All right. Do you want to walk over there?
Yeah.
And we can take a look. So
Look at that, a door.
the Ag 251 class put this together from scratch. We had this door donated by actually a previous culinary student who's taking the class right now. So this really protects against fruit flies and birds. So come in and you can see how the tomatoes are grown.
I'll let you go in first. Okay, so I have a question. How come those are outside of this and these are inside?
So the reason why we chose to do outside and inside is to compare. This variety is called Sun Gold, and it's a lot more delicate than this guy. So I thought it would be interesting to grow these indoor. And these don't turn red, they stay this color right here.
Okay, so different varieties can produce different colors.
Different
They all don't go green, yellow, red.
No.
Okay. That's good to know.
And the cool thing is that the flavor is completely different. The texture is different. So if you're a chef and I think you're looking for a tomato for your salad, like really tasting individually and figuring it out.
Yes.
you know, what you like and
yep.
what your customer like. It's
Pairing
cool.
it with another vegetable or pairing it with fish or meat or chicken, it makes a big difference.
Big difference, yeah. Okay, so this is it for tomatoes. You can see too, it's very intense. We have a different trellis system going on here that needs to be adjusted every week with clips.
Okay, can you explain trellis? Because you said that in the beginning of our video.
Yeah, so these tomatoes are indeterminate tomatoes, so they keep growing, so they need to be pruned constantly. So as you can see here, these need some pruning, and because they're vine-like variety, it needs to be supported, and we have this UV-resistant twine here, and these clips, and they're
UV resistant twines because then the sun would break down the whatever twine you'd be using and then it would fall. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And each vine is individually attached here to the top into this metal pole.
Can you explain, pruning real fast or?
Yeah, so for pruning, when tomatoes are growing, they need a lot of pruning. So, for example, these side shoots right here, they will all have to be removed.
Because then it would weigh down the one big stem that you, or vine, right?
This would be way too heavy, and all the energy would be put into leaves and not into fruit. So what we want is the fruit, yeah. So it's a balance between letting them grow and also letting them put that energy into fruiting.
Okay, so is that up there, the yellow, is that the flower or the sprout of the, right down?
So this right here is the flower. So when the flower gets pollinated, the ovary swells up. And so you can see right here is an old dried up flower, yeah? So what you see, like this little baby tomato is actually the ovary of that flower that got fertilized. So then it grows into a mature tomato. So like on the top of this fruiting cluster right here is the oldest flower. So this flower bloomed first, got fertilized first, and then the tips are just starting to get fertilized. So eventually we're gonna have some baby tomatoes here on the tip. Yeah.
Very nice.
All right.